It's that time of the month where we induct a new Manchester United player into the Fergie Scum Hall of Fame. We've had Eric Cantona, and we've also had... Oh, who was the other player?
Roy Keane.
It was Roy Keane. Well
Legend.
I was testing you. I didn't forget.
Of course you was.
Making sure. But this person that's being inducted today is, well, the very definition of a one-club man. He won the lot between his debut in 1990 and his retirement in 2014. 13 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 9 Community Shields, 2 Champions Leagues, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 1 Intercontinental Cup, 1 FIFA Club World Cup. 963 appearances for Manchester United, which is the most for Manchester United ever. 161 goals in that time, puts him 7th on the United's all-time scorers list. He's got 632 assists for Manchester United. That's 239 more than second place Wayne Rooney. 162 assists in the Premier League, which puts him top of that in the Premier League era. And he also holds the prestige for being the oldest player to ever score at the Olympic Summer Games. We can only be talking about this man.
That's a rather weary one from Vieira. Giggs gets past Vieira, past Dixon, who comes back at him. It's a wonderful run from Giggs! Sensational goal from Ryan Giggs in the second period of extra time. He's cut Arsenal to ribbons, and the team with 10 men go back in front 2-1.
It's not lost on me there, but he said the team of 10 men come back to win 2-1 in that famous FA Cup semi-final. We could have done with a bit of that Everton at the weekend, but of course we're talking about Ryan Giggs. He's missed out on the official Premier League Hall of Fame. He hasn't been inducted into that yet. I'm sure there's reasons for off-pitch stuff that he may or may not have been involved in, but he's definitely going into the Fergie Scum Hall of Fame. We shall overlook it in favour of the fact that he is a Manchester United legend. What a player, right, Paul?
Brilliant, wasn't he? He was brilliant. He's the reason we all fell in love with wingers, isn't it, Ryan Giggs? He's literally the reason why we at United love wingers. Ability, agility, pace, confidence. He started when he was 17, didn't he? I mean, you say 1990 was his debut, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's throughout my youth, he was an ever-present all the way through to adulthood. And he was always there, always played, always produced. Like you said, when you go through what he's won, it's unbelievable. Nobody will get close to that. Nobody will even touch what Ryan Giggs achieved. Whether, like you say, whether you like him as a person, that's a completely different what we're talking about here. But what he was, his pace was the same when he had the ball. Normally, because he was lightning, Ryan Giggs, when he first came through. But he could run with the ball at exactly the same pace. And fullbacks hated playing against. The night before, they must have got zero sleep. Cross the ball, winger on the right side. He was left-footed, playing on the left-hand side, which I don't know about you, Nathan, but these inverted wingers cutting in and crossing and shooting cross the ball, please. Do that. You can't say any more about how good he was, other than I can't think of an out-and-out winger ever that was as good as Ryan Giggs.
I think that's a fair point. I think that is a fair point. He also, as part of that, and you touched on it then, running with the ball as quick as he did without it was a trait that most wingers just can't do now. Most players can't do now. But the interesting part about it was that he wasn't this like Ronaldinho style tricks here and there to get past players. It was a drop of the shoulder, a slight of his like body movement, and the players were gone. And he'd obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson coined the famous phrase, and to quote it directly, he says, when Ryan runs at players, he gives them twisted blood. They don't want to be defenders anymore. which is fair enough, because they were bamboozled by the way that he used to run at them. He could go direct if he wanted to, get to the byline and get that cross in there. And it was always pinpoint accuracy as well. You don't get 632 assists without that type of pinpoint accuracy. And it's something that the modern day football we don't seem to have that anymore. Running off the ball, top speed, and being able to get that ball into the box just seems to be a dying art. That's what I would say. But Ahmad, I mean, you weren't even born in 1990, were you? Or were you?
No,
You weren't,
no.
were you? You
Not
weren't. So
there.
you missed his debut. What do you remember about Ryan Giggs then?
Yeah, honestly, like mostly I caught the years when he moved back into midfield. Because like when I started watching United, it was like around 2007, 2008, and he was in and out of the team, playing as a winger that period. But then when he moved into midfield, then that's when he started playing more and more. And honestly, whenever I watched, I don't think I appreciated how good he was because I was still like new to watching football. I didn't really understand everything, but what I can say, like the thing that stuck with me the most was 2013. So 2013, there were two games when I was like that's insane what I was watching. First of all, it was the when we were losing to West Ham in the FA Cup. I think it was away, and Van Persie came on like the last 10 minutes, and Giggs played that ball, that insane pass to him, and then Van Persie just also the finish and control was amazing, but that pass was insane
Yeah.
because it was last minute. You had to get it perfectly, and yeah. So you're talking about a winger who has that quality to play that pass. But the thing that stuck with me the most was his performance against Real Madrid at Old Trafford. That was insane.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
insane. Honestly, when you think about it, he was 40 years old, playing center midfield against Luka Modric, against Kaká, against Cristiano, and he was running the whole game. He was literally controlling the game. At 40, he was putting in tackles. He was covering ground. He was playing those passes. He was tracking back. He was doing everything. And you're 40 years old. You're not supposed to be doing that. But yeah, like that just shows how professional he is. And another thing, because you guys touched on it, I don't get why when people talk about the best player in Premier League history, Giggs never seems to be mentioned for some reason. And I always say that, like, how can you not mention Giggs? He literally has 13 Premier League. He is the Premier League. Like, for me, he is, like, along with Cantona, for example, they are the Premier League. Like, these players, they made what the Premier League what it is right now. And he's just underrated. And I do think it has to do with what happened off the pitch, but I don't think he's appreciated enough.
It's 100% what happened off the pitch. I don't think there's any doubt in that. It's very political, and it's one of those things that, like, I'm not going to try and dive into it now. We're just talking about the player as he is, or that we remember. And I don't think he'll ever make it into that Hall of Fame. Just look at the way that he's, Manchester United don't deal with him anymore. He's not really an ambassador for Manchester United anymore in the same way that Paul Scholes might be, Nicky Butt, Wayne Rooney, all of those guys. He's not really part of that setup. But just in terms of the player, and it was something that you were talking about there, Ahmad, there did seem to be two types of Ryan Giggs. And we obviously saw both of them, Paul, where it was the winger that was just that killed everyone, right? That was flying from left to right, from right to left, all over the pitch, and just left the defenders chasing shadows. And then there was the late 30s Ryan Giggs, who moved into central midfield and was just as productive from that position, which was, when you think back about that, that's crazy. Like, who else has dropped from complete winger? The only other player that you could look at as a comparison, and they didn't have this same thing, but if you look at Gareth Bale, also Welsh, also brilliant in the Premier League, but could you imagine him going into central midfield and playing that type of role? He was instrumental, and it wasn't just he's there to make up the numbers. He was there to win challenges, mark his man, and then, as you say, play by the World Cup winning passes to the strikers up front. And all of these things, we kind of miss as fans now of Manchester United, because we haven't got any players that can do either one of those roles. So early teenager to like mid-30s as a winger, and then from mid-30s onwards as a central midfielder, he was better than anyone that we've had. I just, it's difficult to put into words just how good that is.
Yeah, it's a testament to his footballing IQ. There's not many people that will ever be on Ryan Giggs' level of reading the game, playing the game, tempo, how to manage the tempo of a game. And when he moved back into midfield, because he did get there was a period where at United he got a bit of stick from the fans, and that's when he must have realised, I'm going to have to change my game. So Alex Ferguson used to play him behind a striker as well a little bit some games, and then he went into midfield. But yeah, that footballing IQ cannot be overestimated. Underestimated, is that the right one?
Overstated.
The things what I remember from Ryan Giggs were, I mean, there's obviously the biggest memory which you've already played. I think almost everybody's gonna say that is the main memory with his airy chest out against Arsenal. Absolutely fantastic. But it was more so almost every big game that Ryan Giggs was involved in, derbies, Champions League games, big Champions League games, you gamed at Highbury, he always produced and was more often than not the best player on the pitch at that high level. And that's one thing you can't say. Ryan Giggs in that United team on that left-hand side was unbelievable. Funny, I mentioned Champions League there. When you go around Europe and you speak to people and you wear a United shirt and things like that, everybody in Europe, older men, 60-year-old men, they all say Ryan Giggs. They all know who Giggs is. Like you said a bit earlier, Ahmad, he's Manchester United. He is Premier League. And everybody loved the way that he approached the game, attacking-wise, creativity-wise. And I think everybody, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Juventus at the time, they were all linked with going for Ryan Giggs. And I think with him being a one-man club, I think that's the reason why he has to go in to Fergie's Come Hall of Fame.
Do you remember when he almost went to Inter Milan? Do you remember all the speculation that was in the papers about him going?
Yeah.
And it looks like, I mean, there's no smoke without fire. I think it was pretty close that they were trying to get him. And Inter Milan also went for Paul Scholes. He was talking about that recently on the Good, the Bad, and the Football. He was saying that Inter Milan came in for him as well. And it was ridiculous money that they were offering players at the time, because they had those fantastic tax laws. I say fantastic. They had those tax laws where they could pay these footballers whatever they wanted. So they were picking up players from all over the place. But Giggs, as you say, he stayed. And he produced from day dot to when he finished. Obviously, he managed Manchester United for a brief period. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss, if I remember correctly, towards the end of the 2013 season.
1 draw, 1 loss.
1 draw, 1 loss, was it?
Yeah.
Did he? I thought it was 4 games. No,
4 games. Yeah, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss.
Give it Giggs to end of season.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, of course. But my 2 favourite things about Ryan Giggs, the ones that last in the memory, is beyond the. I knew we'd all mentioned the FA Cup goal. I knew that, so that's why I played it at the beginning. But 2 things. Anyone that has ever watched Ryan Giggs play knows about how he used to tackle people. Sliding in from the side or from behind, winning the ball and then getting up with the ball to carry on running in the opposite direction. Poetry in motion. Absolutely loved it. Because it was it wasn't aggression. It was I'm taking the ball. It was almost like just the technical side of it. It was like wizardry. Because you don't see it that often. Yeah, you don't. It is finesse. You don't see it that often where he's like a player running down the side. Right now, they tend to either stick a toe out and miss it, and then the player's gone, or they they fouled him like Casemiro does because he hasn't got the legs anymore. But Giggs used to get like alongside them, and you must have had it in your head when you're running down, and you're like, oh, he's at the side of me. I know what's going to happen now, and that humiliation of losing the ball and then watching his ass running back up the other side of the pitch.
He'd
Like,
run
do you know
away
what I
from you
mean?
then, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, gotta chase him now. Yeah.
Exactly, and more often than not, he'd get away because they just couldn't catch you. And the other thing is, like, one of my lasting memories, or one of the things that made me love like Manchester United and get into playing football and want to be a winger in as well, just him, the image of him dropping shoulders left and right, big bouffant hair in that gold and yellow kit, the green and gold kit. Like, it's such a classic kit for men of a certain age, that one with the strings on it and everything. But just the way that he used to get up and down the pitch and just running at players, and like, what is this? Why is he doing this? How's he keep dropping people? And like you said, defenders they did not enjoy it at all. You'd be having nightmares. You'd be thinking about Ryan Giggs playing against you the following day. And what type of tactics do you put in there? Kick him. And that's it.
There was
And
something.
he played during an era of the Premier League where kicking was the answer.
Yes.
That was the answer. And to still produce at that level while getting booted up in the air week in, week out, just amazing for me.
There was something we used to do from corners, from when we conceded corners, wasn't there? Ryan Giggs would stay up there, and Peter Schmeichel would get the ball. And this is another reason why we fell in love with counter-attacking as Manchester United fan. Peter Schmeichel would launch a ball 40, 50 yards, and Ryan Giggs would be there. As a defender, that must have been terrifying. You're one-on-one with that lad running at you. And they'd all trip over the feet, wouldn't they? People like, oh, the defenders, because they wouldn't know where to go. He'd turn them inside out. Yeah. Honestly, unbelievable player. Any of you kids out there that listen to this, go and watch the highlights to see what a real winger looks like.